Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Now, I'm not turning the camera on for this one because I got goddamn bronchitis. And you may hear me cough, but you don't need to see my tongue hanging out my mouth, wrapped around my head, dragging across my scalp, with saliva and mucus slamming against all four corners of the goddamn room. Now, that being said, like, subscribe, and leave that donation for that house fried rice and chicken wings. Hey, yo, who was affected the worst by a cut? Was it Amanda Serrano against Katie Taylor or Tszyu against Fundora? Now hold your horses and let's not take it to the stupid. For those of you out there who are saying there's no comparison with Amanda Serrano and how she performed, and no comparison with Tim, Ozzy, oi, and how he performed against Cockroach Man, Sebastian Fundora, Mr. Fantastic Four. I'm going to tell you there's a whole lot that we can compare across those two fights with those fighters. The first thing that really stands out to me is in that first round with Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor and Tszyu and Cockroach Man, Sebastian Fundora, Fantastic Four, is that they had fantastic first rounds and hurt their opponents. Now, Tszyu was the big right hand, damn near blasting the nose off of Fundora's face first couple rounds, and Amanda Serrano, the big left hand, damn near, she did blast the goddamn the sense out of Katie Taylor, had Katie Taylor stiff as a mannequin, and then them legs went and she started dancing salsa in the ring. So Amanda Serrano turned Katie Taylor into a Puerto Rican for the last goddamn 8 seconds of that first round. But what you saw happen after Tszyu had his success, Amanda Serrano had her success, to most fans it was a foregone conclusion that, okay, this fight's going to end early. And then the unfortunate happens. Tszyu gets a big cut on his head. His brains were spilling out in the ring. His blood, piss, and urine all over the place. Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor started fighting filthy like a pig, headbutting. Now the difference here is Sebastian Fundora, I don't think he intentionally elbowed Tszyu. It's just Fundora is like 6'6". Tszyu is 5'8", and you got a guy with an 80-something inch reach trying to have a phone booth fight. I mean, it's to be expected that it's a possibility you get hit with one of them elbows. But anyway, I don't blame Fundora, because as the fight went on, Tszyu didn't get any more elbows, did he? Because Fundora is not a dirty fighter. You didn't see Tszyu grabbing at his head 3, 4, 5, 6 more times throughout the fight. No. He just had the blood kind of cascading into his eye, and his corner couldn't stop the blood. And that's ultimately what caused Tszyu to be on the losing end of the stick, even though I still felt he fought a competitive fight, but the fight changed. Now with Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor intentionally started headbutting in that second round because she realized, holy shit, Amanda Serrano came up 3 weight divisions, but Lord have mercy, the power she had at 3 weight divisions below, it's been multiplied times 3. And I don't want to get hit with that Puerto Rican bazooka left hand again. She ain't gonna have me in here dancing bachata. So what she do? She start fucking headbutting her. And the fight was, I still felt Amanda Serrano did a lot, did enough to win, but the fight did start to change because now Amanda Serrano is thinking about the cut, and she kept getting headbutted every single round. Katie Taylor was intentionally leaning in with that head. And let me tell you something, I believe, I love the ladies, man. You're not going to hear me come out here and disrespect no female. I got a great sense of humor, but that ain't my thing. But I'll tell you this, man, Katie Taylor's a fucking pig. And yeah, I said it, and those who are saying, oh my God, hood champion. Can't believe he used profanity. Hey, you hold your horses. If I offended you, screw you, subscriber. You can unsubscribe. And don't ever give me a donation for the house fried rice and chicken wings just because I'm frustrated and disappointed at Katie Taylor. An outstanding athlete, outstanding fighter, chose to take it to the stupid and headbutt the shit out of Amanda Serrano. So the fight changed. Tszyu got cut, the fight changed. Amanda Serrano she was getting headbutt every round. That shit was just atrocious. But the fight did change. But what I will say is this. If it's like, who was affected the worst by that cut? Okay, it's two things. Who was affected the worst immediately? I want to say Tszyu. Okay? And the reason why I'm saying Tszyu is because he no longer had to worry about getting elbowed on the top of the head or elbowed in the face because Fundora wasn't fighting dirty. But that blood, man. Tszyu fought blind the whole goddamn fight. So immediately he was affected by that cut on the top of his head. And his corner couldn't stop it. They had no idea how to stop it. And my understanding after listening to, I don't know the guy's title, but he gotta excuse me, man. Told y'all I got this goddamn bronchitis shit. The guys in the medical field, I just can't remember what his title was, but anyway, what he was saying is with a cut on the top of the head like that, because of the capillarious flow, like you just can't stop that. And he's like, and he was saying something about arterial bleeding. Oh, venous bleeding. He was like, you can't stop that. He's like, the fight should have been stopped. But the bottom line is that affected Tszyu every second of the round there after he was cut. And he still fought blind, and he still put up such a valiant effort that it forced the judges to not know who to give the fight to where Fundora ended up getting a split decision win, which I think he was very lucky to get, even though Tszyu got the cut over his head. But if Tszyu would have never had that cut over his head, he would have knocked Fundora out. That's the direction the fight was going. So I think Tszyu was affected the worst immediately after being cut. Now, Amanda Serrano was definitely affected immediately after being cut, but not as bad as Fundora because Fundora just Tszyu just couldn't see. With Serrano, she seemed to be a bit. I'm gonna be fair. I think she was mentally stronger. Maybe that's because she has that mixed martial arts background as well. She's been fighting for a long time. That she was just like, you know what, man, forget this. I'm gonna push through it. I'm gonna fight. And I still think she was doing enough to win. But when she would get her momentum going, Katie Taylor kept headbutting her. Katie Taylor would lean in and grab her with her head right there in Serrano's right eye. And people can say, oh, it's an orthodox southpaw thing. Nothing was done intentionally. Bullshit. It was done intentionally. And Katie Taylor's a piece of shit for what she did to Serrano. Now, who, as far as the suffering that Tszyu has endured after the cut, and the suffering Amanda Serrano is going to endure after this fight. Now, when you look at it that way, who's going to be affected the worst? Remember, I said immediately it's Tszyu, but I think after we let a couple of weeks or months go by, I think it's going to be Amanda Serrano. Because Tszyu cut is up on the top of his head. Looked like he healed up pretty good. He just had a fight. got clipped, but no issues. Mentally, he's still a little bit worried about the cut, but I mean, it's kind of in a spot where that scar tissue there is kind of be hard for somebody to kind of exacerbate that and reopen the cut. But Amanda Serrano, that scar tissue in that corner of her right eye, that's a horrible position to have had a cut like that. That can be, I think, will be easily reopened, depending on the type of punch and the impact of the punch that lands there, or if somehow they make a trilogy with Katie Taylor and Katie Taylor picks up where she left off and brings that big Irish potato head of hers into the ring and starts headbutting again. I just think for Amanda Serrano, with a cut like that, I'd be concerned about the rest of her professional career and the type of wins that she can secure, especially now that fighters have a target. Okay? They have a target. Just like Margarito when he fought Pacquiao. Got that orbital broke, and there was a target there. And he ultimately was never the same. Plus, he had the hand wrap shit, so he wasn't the same fighter after they exposed his ass for being a cheater. But bottom line is, when you take that kind of damage to your eye, to the corner of your eye, or anywhere on your body, it's kind of hard to. I don't think you'd ever get back to being 100%. But that being said, we're going to see, really, as far as when their careers conclude, who was really affected the worst by the cuts both of them have endured. I'll tell you right now, Tszyu looks to be on, he has an uphill battle, is what it looks like to me. And not just because of the cut, because of the comeback fight and who he fought, and fought the wrong fight in my opinion, just went in all gas, no brakes, and he ended up getting caught and getting hurt. And he's still, obviously, still worried about the cut on top of his head. So Murtazaliev, he hurt Tszyu badly. Now with Amanda Serrano, we'll see what she does next. Maybe she returns back down 3-weight division. I think what she said, she's flyweight or something. But anyway, maybe she continues to dominate and do what she does, but it'd just be really unfortunate if she goes back down to her weight division to defend her titles, and now that cut reopens from a punch, and she ends up losing it due to the cut and being in I don't know, 6 or 7 rounds in. They go to scorecards. Oh boy. And they go to the scorecards, and tell you, man, that fucking bronchitis ain't no joke. I mean, I think it may be more than that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna do the video anyway. My son's like, Dad, you need to go to the emergency room. I'm like, man, I went to urgent care twice. They did x-rays on my lungs and everything. They're like, nah, COVID tests, all that. They're like, nah, you just have your bronchioles are kind of, irritated. It could be from the incessant coughing, but I don't know. This shit ain't normal. But I am going to go and get it checked out at the emergency room because something don't feel right with me. I'm just being real. But anyway, we'll see if Amanda Serrano can keep pushing through. I'd hate for her to end up going to the scorecards in her next fight and happen to be down because of the cut, and then she ends up losing her titles. If that happens, the person who does beat her, they should probably give Katie Taylor half of their fight purse, because Katie Taylor is the one ultimately who would deserve all the credit for ruining Amanda Serrano's eye, which would result in her losing fights. Anyway, y'all keep cool. Who was affected the worst? I think as far as in the ring when the cuts happened, I think Tszyu was affected the worst, because that blood was just in his eyes, man. That shit was horrible, horrible. Like a massacre took place. Amanda Serrano was affected really bad too, but I think immediately Tszyu had more challenges to face with that blood, just water falling into his eye. But long term, who's going to be affected the worst? I think it's going to take more time for Amanda Serrano to recover. And even in fights, future fights, she's gonna have a tough time and have to protect that eye because that cut is bad. It's bad, and even if it heals up, it's just gonna be a target. That scar tissue, man, it's gonna be a target for fighters. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm gonna get my sick long ass off of here, and I'm in the breeze.